After the summer crowds have passed and before the winter snow has settled, we come to the perfect time of year to put on our boots and head outdoors. From the colours of Arrowtown on our annual hike in the area, we climb to Big Hill, overlooking the abandoned gold mining settlement of Macetown. Before the borders officially reopen, we tackle Queenstown's most popular day hike, up to the peak of Ben Lomond. As a local tour guide, I discuss the geography and ecology of the area, as well as taking the best view of this popular tourist destination.
This chapter of our journey concludes with the first snowfall of the year. Join us for Queenstown Autumn with Global Travel Stories.
45 minutes from Queenstown, we head to Highlands in Cromwell, where we celebrate a birthday by burning some rubber on their famous 650-metre outdoor go-kart track. Alright, Chicky, where are we?
Highlands in Cromwell.
What are we doing at Highlands in Cromwell?
Going go-karting.
Whose birthday is it?
Francesco.
It's your birthday, Francesco.
Who changed direction?
They've gone the opposite way.
With speeds up to 50 kilometers per hour, Highlands is the most exhilarating go-karting experience in the region.
Okay, Francesco, how was your birthday go-kart ride?
Awesome.
Who came first?
Cobra.
What about out of us?
Me. And then Rob.
Rob.
You, and then Miranda. Miranda.
With all these outdoor activities planned, an appetite is built up before the evening's celebrations. What'd you get, Shiggy?
The unholy donut. Oh, it's big, actually.
That's what she said.
That's a very interesting looking donut. How's it, Chiggy?
Good.
We're at Public Kitchen. Got myself a pork belly. Very into it. Look at that, lamb shank.
Queenstown has some of the best variety of international cuisines for a small town in the world. We made it our mission to try a different restaurant each week to take advantage of the quietest season in town.
Every autumn we make it our mission to go on a hiking adventure in New Zealand's best area to experience the autumn colours, the historic gold mining town of Arrowtown. So we're starting our walk today in the town of Arrowtown, which is an old gold mining town. Started up in 1862 when gold was found here on the Arrow River, and we're going to actually make our way along the Arrow River up to a place called Big Hill, where we should get some sights of another historic gold mining town called Macetown that had since been abandoned. Now this is the peak time of the year to visit Arrowtown. It is actually known as one of the best places in the world to see the autumn colours. And we kind of make an annual trip, don't we, Francesco?
Pretty much. Yeah.
Every year we do a little bit of a trip down here to Arrowtown and do a hike in the autumn, and right now we're in the heart of autumn, peak autumn, end of April here. So we're gonna get some great colours and hopefully some great views. So behind me here you can see actually a mining monument, and this is where William Fox, who was an Irish-born immigrant, started up the first camp in the area, which was called Fox's Camp, after gold was found by a man named Māori Jack Tiwa in 1862. And just beyond the monument as well, there's an area where they actually filmed some of the Lord of the Rings series. So from the first film, where Arwen confronts the Ringwraiths after being chased on her way to Rivendell with Frodo, they stop down here on the Arrow River, and she claims, if you want him, come and claim him. That's where it was all filmed down there. Passing the relics of those who sought to stake their claim in the gold rush of years past, we stumble upon those who still seek to try their luck panning on the Arrow River. Watching four-wheel drives cross the river below, I am reminded of Miranda and my first summer in Queenstown, where we cycled to Macetown, crossing the river a total of 27 times. So the track we're on right now is actually the old Macetown trail that used to be used by all the gold miners as they were making their way up to Macetown itself. You can actually see some of the old aqueduct, the pipes here, that is still used to carry water to Arrowtown to this day. And the river itself, you can actually see are being used by four-wheel drives. Francesco is just pointing them out. It's a fair few of them. So four-wheel drive track actually goes on to Macetown. It's quite a challenging track actually. As you can see, people are still panning for alluvial gold on the Arrow River itself, so it is actually quite a famous area for people to come here and try their luck at a bit of gold panning. Of course, the vast majority of the gold has disappeared now since those days. In fact, even when they were gold mining here in the 1860s, the actual peak of the mining period itself only lasted about 10 to 15 years, so not quite as much gold as what they may have expected, and this is off the back of the Californian gold rush and the Australian gold rush. But still, it is the main reason why Queenstown and Arrowtown exist.
So now we're gonna take a little detour up here, and we're gonna go up this blue track and go all the way up here. We're gonna get up to Big Hill, and then we'll decide if going to Brow Peak and back, or back the same way.
Non-native trees such as birch, willow and poplar were first introduced to the Arrowtown area with the gold miners and settlers of the mid to late 1800s as a reminder of home for those coming from the Northern Hemisphere. Due to good soil conditions and a lack of control, the non-native plants spread throughout the area and have become a big draw card in the autumn period due to their magnificent colours. Alrighty, so we've just stopped on our climb up here to Sawpit Gully, and we've come across some of these plants right here. This plant is actually known as tutu, which is known as probably the most deadly or most toxic native plant here in New Zealand. It was responsible for the death of the very first sheep that was introduced to New Zealand, and also a circus elephant. Now there's little berries here which were out of season, so they're kind of drying up. You can kind of see them if you look closely. But those berries themselves were actually used by the Māori, even though they were deadly and toxic, and they were able to extract the poisonous seed from inside the berry and compile the actual fruit itself into a jelly-like substance. My thing that I always think about though is, it's kind of like trial and error. How did they figure out that the seed was poisonous but not the fruit? So I actually did part of this trail 2019, yeah, first autumn that we were here in the Queenstown region. We actually checked out this little hut up here, but it looks like they're doing maybe some reconstructions or some work on preserving the hut. But we'll check it out. It's probably an old prospector's hut up in this area. Going to stop up here at German Hill, but it is really windy right now, so we're actually going to make our way up to this beech forest in the back here. Hopefully it'll protect us from the wind a little bit, and then we can actually stop for lunch. Alright, trying not to slip, but we're inside this little beech forest, and it's kind of strange, you know. We've been going through these dry grass and tussock lands, and then all of a sudden here in this little gully is just this beautiful tranquil forest. It's stunning. Alright, so that's the forest that we've just come up through. It's a bit longer than I thought. So we've just finished our delicious lunches from the Arrowtown bakery, and now we are making our way up to Big Hill. Peak that we did last year. So we made it up to the top of Big Hill, and God, is it windy. I was actually going to fly the drone up here, but not with this sort of wind. But anyway, we had to cross a little bit of a fence to get over, and the fence itself, you can tell people have been crossing over because it's bent right down in there. My marker's right behind it, but yeah, I'm guessing we're onto some farming land or something now. In the distance, we could see the remains of the gold mining settlement known as Macetown, and in our other direction, the Cardrona ski field. So we've actually decided not to do German Hill up there just because it's really, really windy right now, and the whole point was to actually fly the drone off the hill. So we're going to try to find a little spot somewhere tucked away, maybe in one of these little gullies down here. There's tons of beautiful coloured trees due to the autumn colours, and a lot of the coloured trees were brought in by the miners from North America or from Europe. So essentially they're non-native trees. The native trees, like the beech forest that we went through before, it's not a deciduous forest, so those leaves won't change colour and they won't fall in the wintertime. So we've entered into the autumn forest right now. It's full of birch and maple trees. Absolutely stunning through here. Very, very pretty. Alrighty, so final part of the track. We're coming down via Bush Creek right now and heading back into Arrowtown. It's been a fantastic day, great afternoon, awesome views. This morning started off really, really wet and rainy, and we thought that we were sort of in for it for the rest of the day, but it's absolutely been stunning. Blue skies the whole way. Great day. Time to get a beer. Chicky and her breakfast skillet. Go on, Chicky, shove it in the gob.
It's hot.
Oh, yeah.
Known as the adventure capital of the world, Queenstown has activities to suit everyone's threshold of adrenaline. More on the grounded side, but challenging nonetheless, is hiking, and the most popular hike in the region is known as Ben Lomond. Located above the Queenstown skyline, just a short walk from town to the start of the trail, we take advantage of the low crowd levels before the international borders fully reopen to explore this monumental trail. And yes, you did just see an apartment on fire.
Alrighty, beautiful morning here in Queenstown. We are about to summit Ben Lomond. Now, Ben Lomond was actually the first hike I did when we first arrived in Queenstown back in December 2018. Unfortunately, Chicky over here never got a chance to summit it, and quite some time she was harassing me about doing this hike. We are in preparation mode for the Milford track next week, so fingers crossed, hopefully the weather is all good for that. So this is our good opportunity right now to do this hike in town, strengthen those leg muscles, climb to the top. Ready?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
The first part of the walk is known as the Tiki Trail and is a 45-minute to an hour steady climb through Douglas fir pine forest.
Okay, so we've just left the Tiki Trail, almost a quarter way, I would say. Where we're actually going right now, Ben Lomond up there, it's about a 1,500 meter climb from the very bottom where we first started. So we've done about 400 meters right now, 450, something like that. Yeah, so quite a bit to go. The Tiki Trail itself, the first part of the journey from Queenstown, goes through a pine forest, and that pine forest is where the gondola cruises over, the famous Queenstown gondola that leads up to the skyline area. They're actually doing some extensions on the skyline at the moment, so they're changing some things. They're creating a 10-seater cart, so that should be hopefully complete in the next few years. As we're going up, we saw that they were actually doing a lot of excavating of the rocks and cutting down some of the forest itself. The forest is a non-native forest, So I will say that it isn't an invasive species. We have wilding conifers, wilding pines here that tend to acidify the soil with their pine leaves, or pine needles I should say. So when they hit the ground, they stop from the native plants from growing. So in a lot of places around Queenstown, you'll actually see where the pine forests meet the native beech forests that we have. A lot of those forests have been poisoned off. We actually have some right up here. It's really surreal. We've just passed the halfway point on the 6 to 8 hour trail. We have not seen one other person yet. We haven't passed anybody. When I did this trail in 2018, before COVID, it was absolutely packed. There were people everywhere. It's generally the most popular trail, at least day hike, in Queenstown because it's the most easily accessible trail in all of Queenstown. So it's just kind of bizarre to see how things have changed in the last few years. Past the saddle up here on Ben Lomond. Almost at the top, got about an hour to go. You can see the beautiful moonlight track below us here. That's this valley that sits below where we're walking right now. Did that one a few years ago too, which was pretty cool. Much warmer day than today. Although for autumn, it's getting pretty toasty. I think down in Queenstown they said 16, 17 degrees, so it's pretty warm for an autumn's day. Late autumn's day up here in the Alps, Southern Alps. So not too far from Ben Lomond right now. Woo. Okay, we are almost up at the peak. I'd say less than 10 minutes to go. It's been a really steep climb since the saddle. So that's a part you really need to prepare for. We haven't yet had lunch, so when we get up there, we'll have lunch. We haven't had breakfast actually, so it'll be our first meal of the day. You can see in the distance there, Moke Lake. It's pretty awesome spot. Here is Bob's Cove and Mount Nicholas. So we've made it to the summit of Ben Lomond, 1,748 meters above sea level. Pretty cool. 1,458 meters, I think it was, something like that elevation that we climbed today. We're at the top. Only a slight breeze up here. It's absolutely stunning. Beautiful. And we're the only ones up here. How amazing is that? It's so cool. How does it feel, Chicky?
Amazing!
You finally made it.
What an effort. Worth it.
So there it was, the summit of Ben Lomond. Set up there, had an elaborate lunch of leftover pasta bake, and the views of the Southern Alps right along here. So the Southern Alps, this area along here, is actually formed by two tectonic plates colliding. We have the Australian-Indonesian tectonic plate colliding up against the Pacific tectonic plate that we're actually situated on right now. And the type of sedimentary rock we have on top of these mountains is called schist, which is essentially corals and crustaceans compressed below the sea floor over millions and millions of years, forming a similar type of rock to limestone. So that's why they look like crumbly sandcastles, all of these mountains around here. So we're on the eastern side of the Southern Alps right now, eastern side of the fault line, I should say. And we're heading back down to Queenstown. It's time to have a celebratory drink, and it'll almost be time for dinner by the time we get back down. So this one over here is Mount Aspiring, 3,033 meters high. It's one of the highest mountains in New Zealand. Pretty cool. Alright, Chicky, you made it. Alrighty, we survived. We finally made it back. We're here at the Bavaria restaurant in Queenstown. Got myself a litre of beer.
Soda.
Alright, Prost. This is to our trip in Germany in what, a month now? Not very German, but we've got squid, fried squid and chorizo on my schnitzel. Join us on our next adventure as we head to the UNESCO World Heritage listed Fiordland National Park for a multi-day hike on New Zealand's most famous Great Walk, the Milford Track, before departing New Zealand for the winter and heading to Europe and North America for a Northern Hemisphere summer.
Join us on Global Travel Stories.
Happy birthday, Chicky. What have you got there?
Market fish cocoda, Fijian market fish, salmon togi bowl,
Nice.
and coming up is a Tahitian prawn curry,
Ooh.
and salt and pepper calamari.
Lovely. Blue Canoe, Queenstown. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed our content, please like and subscribe.
And we'd love if you could leave us a comment letting us know what you've enjoyed or what you'd like to see more of.
And help us grow our channel. Become part of the Global Travel Stories family by sharing with friends, family, or anyone you think would enjoy our content. Thanks, guys.